and welcome to Idaho Today. I'm Nicole Sanchez, filling in for Melissa Paul. From the food on our tables to one of Idaho's largest industries, agriculture plays a vital role in all of our lives. But behind every growing season are challenges farmers and ranchers work to overcome, from water availability, something we're all talking about, to rising costs and changing markets. Joining us today is Braden Jensen. He's the Director of Governmental Affairs for the Idaho Farm Bureau Federation. So great to meet you, Braden. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we know no farms, no food, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you give us kind of an overview of what Idaho farmers are facing right now?
Well, you know, the 2026 growing season is just like any other growing season. We always have our challenges, we always have our difficulties, and this year is certainly no exception. You know, with the snowpack that we had this year being below average, you know, I think water was a top concern for a lot of our growers, and luckily we did have some timely spring rains that definitely helped the water outlook. We have market conditions that sometimes make things a little bit difficult, but really I think our farmers and ranchers do what they do best. They adapt, right? They face on those challenges, they take on those difficulties, and I think the 2026 growing season is going to be good, but it's not without work, a lot of work.
And any impacts from the local fires that we've been having here that are affecting?
Well, certainly, you know, fires is always top concern, especially for our rangeland grazers as well. Making sure that we have forage out there for our livestock to be able to continue to grow, and and then also, you know, what that does when we have a blanket of smoke come in, how that impacts the growing for our crops and everything like that. So obviously these are all things that we're taking into consideration.
And for people who don't know a lot about farms, or you know, they don't have their little veggie garden going,
yes,
why should they care? Why should we all care?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love this question because, you know, you think about the individual, you think about the farmer and the rancher. I mean, this is much more than an occupation. Really, this is part of their lifeblood, right? And why should any individual care about this? It's because, you know, what they do impacts us, whether it's the food that we eat, the clothes that we wear, whether it's the economic impact that the ag industry has on the state, that definitely supports our rural communities, but also our big cities as well. And really, we should all care. It's because, you know, here we are sitting in a room today, air conditioned. It's forecasted to be mid-90s and everything like that. We don't have to give second thought to where our next meal comes from. It's because of these men and women and the things that they're doing to make sure that we always have an abundant and safe food supply.
What gives you optimism about the future of agriculture in Idaho?
Well, I would definitely have to say it's the people, right? Again, it's the men and women that choose to do this, right? There's easier ways to make a buck, but these individuals, this is part of their lifeblood, right? This is they're part of their heritage. This is what they want to do. And for many of them, this is a multi-generational occupation, multi-generation operation where they choose to come in day out. And that's what gives me the optimism. The new generation coming in, whether it's a first-time farmer just jumping in for the very first time, or it's somebody who's taking on, you know, that next generation. It's those kids that are right there with their parents, learning the tricks of the trade, and that's what gives me the optimism. I think really the future of agriculture really is bright.
Yes, for sure. And education is important, right? And reaching young people, whether or not they have that generational,
yes,
you know, that their parents and grandparents and they're, you know, inheriting the farm, trying to do outreach and attracting more young people,
yes,
to learn more. Probably one of the biggest challenges, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, we do all we can to make sure that next generation has the tools that they need, the education, so that, because I mean, so much of the things that, you know, are going to make ag continue to be viable is adapting to those new technologies and understanding all the opportunities. And then you think about all the support industries and all the support roles. And so it's not just the farmers in the field, but everybody else that makes it possible so that they can have success in their operations.
Yes. And wonderful, delicious food. We have so many great restaurants that are farm to table too. So we all get to enjoy the fruits of the labor.
Absolutely.
Real quick, where can people go for more information?
Yes, for more information, go to idaho-fb.org.
Okay.
And definitely check that out. We've got tons of information about our industry, about our membership, and great resources available there.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.